Hey everybody, it's Matt here, and today I want to talk about the Wii U. So, not just because of the recent news that the Wii U eShop is slowly but surely losing functionality, but in general, I just see so much Wii U negativity, and I've even seen some recent positivity on Twitter, but for the most part, it's just a lot of negativity surrounding the Wii U. And as someone who's a somewhat recent Wii U owner, I say somewhat recent because in my mind, I just got it like last year, but I think it's been 3 to 3.5 years that I've had a Wii U. I somewhat recently, again, I will still use the word recently until I die. I ended up getting one from Anthony, who you've seen on the channel before, and I really enjoyed it. And I didn't have it when it was first out. I didn't even try it much other than once, actually at a friend's house, at Deej's house, who you've also seen on the channel before. So I wanted to get some people on the channel that you've seen before who either had a Wii U while it was out, or got one fairly recently, or at the very least played a Wii U enough to say whether or not what they specifically like about it, and not what they don't like about it, because that's not what this video is about. Won't be talking about negatives, this one is about positives. So either way, let's go to the first person right now.
So yeah, I did have some positives with the Wii U. Biggest thing for me was being able to play Smash 4 with friends. I remember that was actually my biggest draw for the console, because I just remember looking at Smash 4 and how beautiful it looked compared to the 3DS version, which is what I had. And I was like, oh, I have to have this. I gotta get it at some point. But yeah, I there was a local place that we would do tournaments at. Had a lot of fun, especially putting in amiibos too. Had a lot of fun with that. Mario Kart 8 too was another one. Had fun with that with friends. Wonderful 101, which was a friend of mine, his personal favorite. Still gotta get back and play that. I gotta ask him at one point if I can play that from him. There were a lot of titles that dropped for the Wii U that either my friends really enjoyed, or there were games that I look at now that I really like. That series I've been meaning to go back and play, like Star Fox, is a one that I've been trying to go back and play through. Like, I feel like if it was a different time, I might have picked it up, because yeah, there are just games that I wanted to go back and play in different series. Like Bayonetta was another one. Definitely Legend of Zelda as well, something like that. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have it myself, but I had some fond memories with it too at the same time.
Hey everybody, hope you're doing okay today. So Matt brought me on to talk about some of the positives about the Wii U. Now, I haven't had the Wii U since day one. I'm not going to lie to you and say that I have. I actually picked it up solely for the purpose of playing Mega Man Battle Network. And that's not a joke. I literally told him I'm buying this thing because I want to play Mega Man Battle Network. Battle Network series is one of my favorites back in the day, and the Wii U offered me an opportunity to play it because it was available on the eShop at the time through the Virtual Console. So I'm going to go into that right away. So even though the eShop is now shut down, and you can only wait if you've got it downloaded from beforehand, if you need to re-download something, you can do it in March of 2023, I believe I was told. Until then, outside of that, no more, right? But you still have access to that stuff. They're not going to come in and put their hands into your Wii U and take it away and just rob it from you. You actually do get to still play it. So I can still pick up my Wii U right now, and I can still play Battle Network. And to that credit, if you were able to purchase some games on there through the Virtual Console beforehand, there was a very extensive library. And up to the point when I had bought the Wii U, I owned a Switch. And I bought the Wii U to play Mega Man Battle Network because I couldn't do that on the Switch. So I actually bought the Wii U because of the fact that some titles were exclusively available legally to be able to be played on the Wii U. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. Now, the Wii U itself, when it comes to the actual device, I know in a way it was sort of like a precursor to the Switch in the sense that you could use the gamepad if you didn't want to play on the TV versus, the way the Switch you can actually pick up and play and also play on the TV. And I gotta be honest with you, one of the things that I like about the Wii U is the fact that I have relatively large hands, and the gamepad is something I can actually play on. The thing about the Switch is that, there are some games that require you to play on one side remote, and I physically just cannot do that. I cannot take one side controller. I have to put them in the little slots and play, or actually hold the entire Switch, which is a little bit awkward at times. So the Wii U's gamepad actually felt pretty good on the hands. And for the most part, it responds very well. The resolution was fine, and it was really nice to actually play on that. I played Mega Man Battle Network again, which was a Game Boy Advance game, through using that, and it felt very comfortable. I didn't have any problems, and I very much enjoyed that. So for the most part, I liked my experience with the Wii U. It's just a matter of now going forward, if you've got those games or not from the eShop beforehand.
The Wii U generally didn't have a big library, but what I always got excited about for the Wii U was the Super Smash Brothers games, because I enjoyed playing that with friends, and I also liked the story mode, and I really liked the different Nintendo characters. So the big thing for me getting the Wii U was Super Smash Brothers. I also think the Wii U had a great virtual console library. They had games from the Nintendo era, Super Nintendo era, Nintendo 64, and Game Boy Advance. And I think the Switch didn't really live up to the quality of the selections of the virtual console that the Wii U had. So those are my positives about the Wii U.
So I'm here to talk about positives, which is why I will not be referencing the gamepad at all. I'm kidding. So when it comes to the gamepad, actually, I do have to say that, well, yes, the Switch is the Switch, but in a world where the Switch doesn't exist, it's actually really cool to be able to play some retro games, and also just in general, games that I can actually play on the gamepad using that, especially when someone else in the house is using the main TV. And it does have some reach to it. You still have to be connected to the console, not physically, of course, but still, you can move around your house to a certain extent. Positives. I also do enjoy the Virtual Console a lot. Yes, the Switch now has the N64, but for the time that there wasn't N64 games on the Switch, it was actually really cool to see N64 games on the Wii U. Also Game Boy Advance games as well, NES games, SNES games. No Sega Genesis. Well, I believe that they were on the Wii. So sad that there were no Sega Genesis on the Wii U, but still, looking at the Virtual Console, it was amazing what we were able to have on there. Some really cool franchises, some that I don't think we'll be seeing if there's been some recent talk of a leak of potentially GBA coming to the Switch. I don't think we're going to get all those GBA games back on the Switch that we saw on the Wii U. So having them there and being able to have them be somewhat portable was actually really cool, especially again for some franchises that I grew up on, some that maybe some people never got the chance to experience, and in some cases the entire franchise would be on the Wii U. So I do think that's pretty cool. Also, the games. Yes, you'll have some people say things, and we do have to mention a few negatives here and there. Some people saying things like, oh, there aren't a lot of games on the Wii U, and oh, all of those have been ported to the Switch. But in a world where they weren't ported yet, there were some really good Wii U games on the Wii U, and some stuff that was very interesting to me personally, and made me want to go out and actually get a Wii U. Not at the time it was out, because I just couldn't afford it, but now looking back, talking to Anthony like I mentioned earlier, I really want to get a Wii U specifically for Wonderful 101, which I know Tristan mentioned earlier. Also wanted to get one for Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which I don't know too much about either franchise involved, and yet still looking at it I thought, ooh, that looks interesting. I might want to check that out. Also, of course, Super Mario 3D World as well, the Fatal Frame game that was on there as well. So there was a very interesting library on the Wii U. Yes, it wasn't a huge library, but I do think that the library they had was still pretty damn good. There's even some indie titles that thankfully, yes, now have been ported to the Switch, especially with the eShop closing down. It's good that they're on the Switch, but seeing them on the Wii U, it actually definitely did build up the console in the same way that I think that the Switch had indies build up the Switch for a bit. And I still think are the backbone of the Switch. As much as there are great Switch games on their first party, there's still some also really good indie games on there as well. So I do think that when it comes to being an indie console and also a virtual console, it's really damn good. And there weren't, yes, it is frustrating. I understand that there weren't that many first party titles But still, I think that most were really good. Also, and I know this sounds very bottom of the barrel today, but at the time, having a console with an HDMI port and having games look that good on a console was actually really cool. So I know that it sounds so bottom of the barrel when you look at the PS4, PS5, the Xbox series of consoles. The fact that the 360 and the PS3 had HDMI ports, it just sounds so silly. But for a company like Nintendo, and the fact that when you look at the back of, I don't know if it's all Wii U's, but at least I know that one of them that I have actually has AV ports. So there could have been a chance that in 2013 there would have been no HDMI support. So thank God there was. But at the same time, there's a little bit of concern there, I think, looking back going, oh God, are they really going to put an HDMI port in there? So it definitely sounds so milquetoast today with what gaming is now. But going back to Nintendo in 2013, that is oddly a big deal. I really wish it wasn't.
So I want to move on to two positives, and the reason why I'm talking about these both right now is because of how they both intertwine. So the first is talking about backwards compatibility. Now, they did remove GameCube backwards compatibility on the Wii U. Not a fan of that, but they did keep the Wii. So while I wasn't the biggest fan of the Wii and the Wiimote and the Nunchuck, for anyone who was, it is pretty cool that they did leave that in because they could have easily just removed that altogether. And while yes, it might have felt like a slap in the face to remove the GameCube backwards compatibility, I think it would have been an even bigger slap in the face to also remove the Wii compatibility. So thankfully you can play Wii games on the Wii U. And the second thing that I want to say that I find very much a positive, I know it's not a positive right out the box, so I don't want this entire video to just be about this one positive, but I do think that it's worth mentioning nonetheless. It's that the Wii U is very easy to mod. So when it comes to GameCube backwards compatibility, sure, it was removed via discs, but if you do mod your Wii U, you can play GameCube games on the Wii U. You can rip them yourself from your Wii, and you can play backups of your original GameCube games on the Wii U. And what's fascinating is that you're not getting a GameCube emulator for your Wii U. It's not like RetroArch where you can throw emulators on there. By the way, RetroArch does also work on the Wii U. Pretty cool thing to mention there. But when it comes to GameCube backwards compatibility, it's actually still in the code in the Wii section of the Wii U. So they didn't remove that. They just removed the ability to have actual GameCube games go into the Wii U, which I assume was actually due to the price. They wanted to bring the price down, make it more affordable for families. And I do have to say that's another great positive with the Wii U, like I mentioned before, when it came to the HDMI cable. Hey, it was affordable. So I won't stay on modding for too long, but I just want to say that because of how easy it is, I feel like it's breathed new life into the Wii U, and it's amazing what the modding scene has done for it and what it will do for it for years to come.
Also, here's some more positives about that gamepad. The fact that not every game needed it. Yes, that's a positive, everyone. Because when you look at the gamepad and the issues that we will not be talking about in this video, that you've probably heard before, the fact that not every game needed it, it wasn't a thing that was a necessity for every single game, be they, of course, virtual console or even first party, I think was pretty cool. Because, yes, you know, it was a gimmick that I don't think worked. A little negative there, sorry. But that doesn't change the fact that the gimmick wasn't something that really tethered the console for every single game. Again, there are issues, but it wasn't every single game. It wasn't a requirement for every single game, and that made me very happy as someone who thought, oh, am I really going to have to use this for every single one of these games? And the fact that I can actually just use my Wiimote and a classic controller and bust out some other stuff as well is something that I was happy to see. So those are my positives on the Wii U. You've heard everyone else's positives, but I want to hear yours. And look, even though this video was trying to be as positive as possible, if you want to talk about your negatives in the comments, you can. Be respectful while doing so, but you can talk about your negatives because the Wii U definitely wasn't all roses and sunshine. If it was, then it wouldn't have been shut down that quickly, production wouldn't have been shut down that quickly, and we wouldn't have a Switch as soon as we did with a very barren wasteland of games initially. So clearly, the Wii U failed, yes, but that doesn't mean that just because it failed that there aren't any positives there and there wasn't any fun to be had. For some of you out there watching, the Wii U was your first console, and guess what? That's awesome. Like, you're not a failure. The Wii U was. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, if you like the video, please remember to like and subscribe. And if you don't like the video, you can still like and subscribe either way. Like, that's cool. You can dislike too, whichever, you know. I won't judge you. All right, everybody. So love you all. Take care and tune in next time. So see ya.